Welcome to the Pub Sports Radio MLB Closing Time Show, Tuesday, August 31st, last day of the month, September tomorrow. Unbelievable. The summer flying by before our very eyes. And so is this baseball season. We've got 1 month left. 1 month left in the regular season before the playoffs begin. Ian Cameron and Conor Mack with you as the roller coaster ride, for at least for us, that is MLB betting, continues on. Another big card to break down tonight. So let's get to it. We'll start with the St. Louis Cardinals and the Cincinnati Reds. We've got in this matchup Miles Mikolas and Sonny. Yesterday, my life was filled with rain. Yesterday, my life was filled with rain. Back in the Reds to hit John Lester, which they absolutely could not do. We'll get to that in a second. Cincinnati minus 150 to minus 160 home favorites. 8.5, 9 the total in this game. And really, for once, I'm not going to rant and rave about a team. I'm going to put the blame and point the finger at me, myself, because I saw it on Sunday against a bad lefty in Jesus Luzardo that the Reds didn't hit a lick off that guy and got beat. Yeah. And yet, despite losing with Cincinnati in that game, I came back to the well against John Lester because, to be honest, I have been betting against Lester quite a bit this year, and it's been profitable. But I knew the Reds weren't hitting lefties as well lately. I knew that they had just been shut down by Luzardo, who's had a horrible year the day before. And yet still I came back to Cincinnati yesterday with their team total over 5.5. They didn't even come close. And it's just one of those moments where when you're seeing the game progress, second inning, third inning, fourth inning, the Reds are just getting shut down completely by John Lester, and you realize you're probably not going to win that bet. You just have one of those moments, and I did it last night as that game, and it continued to just anger me watching Lester just roll through that lineup. And I just got to that point where I just said to myself out loud, there's nobody around. I mean, I was just saying it to myself. You really are a fucking idiot. You know that? That you didn't learn your lesson the day before when they faced Luzardo, who stunk all year and shut them down, and you came right back to thinking they could hit Lester, he struggled, but they've struggled against lefties. They got totally shut down by Luzardo. How could you trust them again against Lester? Sure enough, I did. And sure enough, they get shut down again. So I made the decision right after that game. I'm not betting this game today, St. Louis, Cincinnati, to hell with it. But I will say this. I mean, Miles Mikolas and the Cardinals, they're a Jekyll and Hyde bunch. They'll lose to the Pirates and then do what they did last night, beat Cincinnati 3-1. And Miles Mikolas, to his point, 2.70 ERA, to his credit, I should say, 2.70 ERA in his last 3 starts. In his 2 starts since returning from the injured list, 5 runs, 9.1 innings. The problem is he's not going to give them a whole lot of length. Sonny Gray has turned it around. He's had 13 straight innings of shutout baseball going into this game tonight. I've not necessarily wanted to back him in Cincinnati at Great American Ballpark, but you can't deny the last 3 starts have been marvelous, and he's 3-0 in those games. But I'm not laying this price with Gray and the Reds. And keep in mind, this game may not even get off the ground due to potential rain in the forecast as well. So just keep all of that in mind. I just made the decision after last night. So frustrated that, I'm not going to bet this game today. And that's exactly where I'm standing with that. Pass for me on this one. What do you think, Conor Mack? The hell was that? Oh, it's a dono train. I didn't expect that. Tony Cobbs again right away with the $5 donation. Thanks a lot. Conor, what do you like here? St. Louis, Cincy.
Yeah, thanks, Tony. We appreciate it. And everybody in the chat, thanks for being here. Hit the like button, hit the share, hit all the fun shit that we tell you to do all the time. Yeah, I'm not going to bet this one at all either. I didn't bet yesterday, but I would have only been on the Cardinals like we talked about. Man, the Reds has only scored 1 run in all of the last 3 games, 27 innings. Mikolas could look good. You talked about the rain. I kind of wanted to take the under. Sonny Gray has messed with my head a lot over his career. He can be really good, and he can get hit hard. They have decent numbers. It's just, I don't want the Reds. So right now, I just don't want them at this big price. Maybe they bust out today, but I don't want to wait. I don't want to I wouldn't put my hard-earned money on it, minus 150, or even their team total. So, like, on the play like this, I lean under a little bit, and I'd only lean the Cardinals. I'm way, way far away.
Yeah, I'm far away from that one as well. Philadelphia and Washington now. Matt Moore and Patrick Corbin, your pitching matchup here. We've got the Nationals minus 120 home favorites, 9 the total here in this game. I like this game over the total. Corbin, I made the mistake of trusting him once for the first time all year, pretty much. I don't think I've bat Patrick Corbin until his last start, and the last start was just a horror show for Patrick Corbin against Miami. 6 runs, 3 innings. Look, he's just been bad. Even against a weak hitting Miami team, they could shut them down. He had 1 good start against Milwaukee, and other than that, he's given up 6. He's given up 6 to Atlanta, 5 to Atlanta, 4 to Philadelphia when he faced them earlier this year in 7 innings, 4 runs, 8 hits, 5 innings to Philly before that. So Philadelphia smacked him around and scored 8 runs against him in his last 12 innings pitched against this Phillies team. I don't see what changes here. On the other side, Matt Moore finally showing signs of the Matt Moore that we kind of thought we'd see this year. Not a very good one. And last start was not good against Arizona. 4 runs, 7 hits, 4 innings of work. Matt Moore, a lefty. That's usually good news for Washington and their lineup, who usually feast on lefties, especially mediocre ones. So it's a pretty simple decision here over the total. 2 pitchers I don't trust, and I think the lineup should do enough damage. What do you think here, Conor Mac, with Philly, Washington?
Yeah, I agree with you here a little bit. Even though Moore has thrown a few solid games kind of throughout the year, I can't trust him. And yeah, I tried to trust Corbin as a huge dog against the Marlins, and he just got rocked, even to a Marlins team that struggles to hit at times. But I'd only back the Nats here. It's starting to move a little too much. And this is the big key. There's a sorry lefty on the mound. Take the Nats, or take their team total. It's 4.5. It's -110. It's even less than most places. Is -120. The Nats now. And I lean the full game over 9.5. I think both teams can score runs here. Don't trust either pitcher, but I think I might focus just more on the Nats. I think you take them to win, or you like their team total here at over 4.5 against a lefty.
Yeah, exactly. I think Philly can do some damage against Corbin. You look at, by the way, Freddie Galvis, who's in the lineup today for Philly, 5 for 16 against Patrick Corbin. There's a reason he's in there. Real Muto's hit him well. So is Gene Segura. So there's a bunch of guys that have pretty good numbers against Patrick Corbin. Of course, they've scored 8 runs against him in the last 2 starts that he's made against Philadelphia combined. And then you look at some of the Washington numbers against Matt Moore, every bit as ugly. Josh Bell, 2 for 4, 500, a home run. Ryan Zimmerman, 4 for 9, 444, 2 home runs. Juan Soto, a home run against him, and 2 for 6. Alcides Escobar has had a lot of success, and it looks like most of them are in the lineup. Bell's in, Soto's in, Escobar is in. All of these guys have had success and done damage. Again, Luis Garcia's in the lineup. They've all done damage against Matt Moore. So I think the case pretty clear for the over. Again, this is one of those games where if it stays under, so be it. But the numbers point out we should see runs here on both sides, and I think that's indeed what will end up being the case in this game. All right, next up here, we've got the Baltimore Orioles, Toronto Blue Jays. What do you know? The Jays finally had their offense spring to life last night for the first time, and it seems like forever. That's really how long it feels like it's been since we saw an offensive outburst from this Blue Jays team. Finally saw one last night. Keegan Aiken on the mound for Baltimore tonight. Hyunjin Ryu for the Blue Jays. Toronto -300. Home favorites, 9.5, 10 the total in this game. Certainly the Blue Jays needing the win they got last night, needing the offensive outburst, 7 runs. It's their high water mark. They've only scored 7 twice in the last 10 games. So it was good to see that from that lineup. And now they get to feast on Keegan Aiken, who's had a rough year, although he is coming off a better outing against the Angels. What do you make of that? 1 run in 7 innings against the Angels. Rather stunning to see him pitch that well. But
yeah,
we really
I watched it. I was shocked. I watched that game. I don't know. The Angels just wanted to get out of town. That was that last game, 13-1. But we'll see. Sorry, I just watched that game because that was the best I've ever seen him pitch.
Yeah, this year, no doubt. Before that, it was
for
3,
sure this
3,
year.
6, 6, 4, 6. It's just been awful for Keegan Aiken, but I don't trust him here. The Jays faced him in June 26th, 6 runs, 7 hits, 4.1 innings here in Toronto as well, and the Blue Jays won that game 12-4. Yeah, this is probably for me more a Blue Jays team total over if I'm going to get involved than a full game, because one thing about Ryu has been really, really inconsistent lately. Good start, bad start, good start, bad start has been kind of his pattern lately. But I think he does bounce back here in this game against the Orioles. Keep in mind, he's faced Baltimore 3 times this year. 2 of those were absolute gems. In fact, even the third one, he gave up 4 runs in 6.2 innings, which isn't bad. That's not terrible. And then in the other 2 starts against Baltimore, 1 run in 5 innings, 1 run in 7 innings. So he's pitched well. He's 5-0 in his last 5 starts against Baltimore, all as a member of the Blue Jays. So actually, since he's been in Toronto, the Blue Jays are 5-0 in Hyunjin Ryu's 5 starts against the Orioles. So it's probably a good. Toronto should win. Toronto's got to think we got to sweep this series. They finally got a break last night. They won and Boston lost on the same night. So they actually picked up a game on the second wild card, and now they're only 4.5 back. So they're inching their way back into the wild card race again. So they got to take care of business here. TCOB, take care of business. It's simple as that. That's what they got to do tonight, but I'm not laying minus 300 here. Just not doing it. I think the way you got to just find different ways to skin the cat, if you will, when you're talking about a favorite of this size. Do you go first 5? And even then you got to lay, you can't go first 5 because even then you got to lay minus 200. You have to go minus 1.5 in the first 5 in this one, or minus 2.5 alternative run line. Well, the full game run line's actually not bad, minus 150 on the Blue Jays, but still not a great price there. I just prefer team total being 5.5. This could have been 6.5. And to be honest with you, I think it should be 6.5. But because the Blue Jays have struggled at the plate for like a good couple weeks, I think you're getting this team total of the Jays maybe 1 run lower than it should be against a really bad pitcher who got absolutely cracked earlier this season by this Blue Jays lineup. So I like Toronto team total here, over 5.5, minus 130. That's probably the bet I'll go with in this game. What do you think, Conor? Baltimore, Toronto?
Yeah, this game's a little bit tricky to me. I think Ryu, he's probably due for a good start. Usually he's had a few bad ones. He throws a gem. Aiken, like I said, it's the best I've seen him pitch definitely this year, that last starting at the Angels. And they just looked like they wanted to get out of town. Their at-bats were horrible. I don't know about this over 10. Blue Jay game's been going under. Ryu could throw a gem. Aiken could just give up 6 or 7. I lean the over a little bit, but I don't know if I get there. The one I wanted is, you talked about it, 2 out of the 3 pitched great. That last game, they faced each other, June 26th. You talked about it. Aiken gave up 6, and Ryu gave up 4 to the Orioles. I was really looking at the Orioles over 3.5 team total a little bit. It's minus 105. I don't know if I could get there because I think Ryu pitches a little bit better today. But I was kind of just looking at that side of it here on this one. But other than that, it's a pass. Yeah, you got to find ways if you like the Jays. I mean, that team total at 6.5. You got to go 2.5. I just don't want any part of the big numbers.
Yeah, I think the best thing about the Jays last night is Teoscar Hernandez and Vlad Guerrero, 2 of the guys that have been in the worst slumps during this offensive drought of theirs, got going last night. Big hits for both of them. 2 home runs for Vladdy. So, my gosh, what a sight for sore eyes that was to see that if you're the Blue Jays and you're hoping that's a sign of things to come and him getting it back again, getting back in form. Next up, Oakland, Detroit, Cole Irvin, Tariq Skubal, 2 lefties on the mound in this matchup. We've got right now Oakland, minus 110, minus 115 road favorites, 9 the total, shaded to the over. So I know Oakland's got everything to play for right now. What are they, 2 games out, of the wild card behind Boston for that second spot? They open minus 130. You would think reasonable price for, still the better team on the road, needing the wins. So every game's important for Oakland moving forward, and yet the money's coming in on Detroit here in this game. And I think it's a lot of respect in the betting markets for Tariq Skubal. And you can understand why. We've liked Skubal a lot. We've said even when Skubal's had those starts where he's been a little bit, hit around a bit, that this guy's got ability, in this rotation. And he has shown that. The last 3 starts have been good for Skubal. 2.04 ERA. You go back to the beginning of August. This is where the season turned for him. He was really struggling and laboring in July. Well, then the calendar turned to August, Connor Mack. 4 runs allowed for Tariq Skubal in a grand total of 22 innings in the month of August. So it's been a much better month here for Skubal with this Tigers rotation. And Cole Irvin is, he's all right, but he's not spectacular. He's been decent, but I think decent's the word. I don't think he's been great. He gave up 3 runs, 7 hits in 3 innings against a Seattle team that's actually had trouble at the plate as of late. And before that, he gave up 3 runs, 7 hits in 6 innings against the White Sox, 5 runs in 5 innings against Texas. The Oakland Athletics are just 2-4 in his last 6 starts, so they haven't even been winning consistently with Irvin as of late. Now, granted, the Tigers are 2-2 in Scooble's last 4 starts, but even in the 2 losses, they deserved it. He pitched well enough for Detroit to win that game. Unfortunately, the offense didn't come around. When you look at this Tigers team, you always say to yourself, are they capable of hitting? We know they've at times struggled lately at the plate. For the season, their numbers are better against lefties, but it's been a little bit of a hit or miss with this lineup, especially the last 5 games or so. They've scored 2 runs or less now, 5 straight games, losing, of course, 3-2 in the makeup game yesterday against Minnesota. So it's not exactly a potent lineup right now for Detroit, but tough game. But I would lean Detroit here. I'm just, even though the A's need the game and they're battling for their playoff lives, I've seen enough of Irvin to say I'm not exactly jumping at the a prospect of laying a price with him on the road right now. What do you think here, Conor Mac, with the A's and Tigers?
Yeah, me either. This is just not a game I love. That the A's at time, I mean, they've won those last 2 games against the Yankees, and they needed them bad, and they need a game like this. Yeah, I lean under a little bit. Irvin's he usually just gets by, but he has struggled outside of his division at times, and that's the Tigers here. But the Tigers haven't been hitting much. And you talked about Scooball's been pretty good those last 4 starts. The last one he gave the 2 solo homers to the Cardinals, but struck out 11. I'd want to be on the Tigers here at plus money. I just don't love it, and I lean under. I haven't made a play on either one, but that's where I'd be. I don't want the A's here today. I got to wait on them till they get rolling. So, yeah, I lean Tigers here, plus 105.
Yeah, I would lean under too. I think that makes sense, or at least split it up because you never know with the Tiger bullpen. It can be a little bit shaky at times, but first 5 or full game under, that does make sense. Again, you got an Oakland team that hasn't exactly been crushing the ball lately either, and Detroit certainly hasn't. And that's why I'm lukewarm on Detroit, because they aren't hitting collectively as a lineup these last 5 games. They've really scuffled at the plate, and that does concern me a little bit going into the game tonight. We got the Miami Marlins and the New York Mets. Next game up here, Edward Cabrera and Trevor Williams on the mound. We've got the Mets minus 155, minus 160, home favorites here in this one. 6.5, the total shaded to the under. I don't know if you're going to get many more opportunities to bet an underdog of this price against fading a team that's just everything is fallen apart for the Mets. They suck on the field. They've completely fallen out of the NL East race. They're not making the playoffs. The Lindor and Baez, the 2 morons that they are turning on the fans and giving them the old thumbs down. And then they're backpedaling today because the Mets front office and the owner, Cohen, probably forced them to and said, you know what, you 2 jackasses, you're going to get in front of the camera and apologize for your stupidity and your buffoonery for doing that shit. That's exactly what happened. They don't feel a damn bit sorry. You don't do something like that if you didn't intend to do it. So don't come out here with your little bullshit apology that, wow, we're really contrite for giving the fans the thumbs down. The fans pay your salary, jack off. Why don't you guys realize that? How about you hit? How about you get a hit in the clutch, Lindor? How about you stay on the field for a few games? Oh, Baez, you're not even wet behind the ears in this Mets organization. What have you been there for? A cup of coffee? 2 days? And you have the nerve to call out the fans and say they shouldn't be upset that this team in this piss-poor division can't get out of their own way and has completely and utterly collapsed yet again? And you have the nerve to say they shouldn't be upset and they should support your ass? Give them a reason to support your ass. Play good baseball. That's a good idea. That's a good start. Play good baseball. It's very simple. Treat the fans with some respect, for Christ's sake. They pay your fucking, this is really upset me, Connor. This
$25 million salary.
$300 million.
Yeah,
do you understand that, Lindor? $300 million. And people have lost jobs. People are out on the street. People can't pay rent. The pandemic has put them under. And you, with your $300 million contract that's done zip this year, zip, nothing. He's been injured, and then when he's been at the plate, he hasn't hit in the clutch. He has been screwing up in the field at times. Tons of issues with this guy, and he's going to come out there and give you the thumbs down. Thumbs down. Here's my thumb right there. That's my thumb to Lindor and Baez, 2 jackasses. I have no time of day for them. None. 0. None.
They're getting their ass whipped right now.
Yeah, exactly. Give me Miami here. I like Edward Cabrera. That guy was terrific in his first start with the Miami Marlins. It was a great start. I mean, he's got wipeout stuff. He's got an electric arm, and he completely shut down that Nationals team. I was absolutely impressed with what I saw from him. We're going to lay a price with the Mets and Trevor Williams, who's been an average at absolute best. At absolute best, he's been an average pitcher in the major leagues with the Cubs and then with the Pirates before that. So to me, this is Miami here. First 5, full game split with a very promising young pitcher on the mound. Sign me up. What do you think here, Conor Mac? Marlins and Mets.
Yeah, I'd only be on the Marlins. The Mets seem to be packing it in. I mean, they'll be 5 games under if they lose earlier today. This is game 2 of the doubleheader. Give me the Marlins with Cabrera. Give me the young kid. They're at least playing hard. Right now the Mets, are just packing it in. And I'd only lean under. I'd be on the Marlins in this game, and I know it's 6.5, but I think the pitching, the Mets don't hit. They only have 1 run today. The Marlins can't score at times. So, I'm the Marlins plus 145, and I'd only lean under 6.5 the full game.
Yeah. I mean, I think Miami, it's a great price here with this Cabrera kid. Mets can't hit their way out of a wet paper bag. They can't play on the field. They're losing games left and right. They're out of the mix. I mean, the fans and these 2 entitled, absolute jackasses, that are turning on the fans right here. I mean, it is just it's falling apart, and I feel bad for our guy Dom. Dom Reach. I'm not feeling too bad for him because he's killing it right now with his baseball bets. He's doing a great job. But I feel for him as a Met fan that once again, we've got to put up with this nonsense and this organization that I thought once the Wilpons got out of there and they got this Cohen in there that maybe things would change. And somehow they can't get out of, controversy and embarrassing situations and, one debacle after another. And we're seeing that once again here from this Mets team in 2021. Disappointing for the hardcore Met fans. I feel for them. Boston and Tampa Bay next up. We've got Peacock here on the mound for the Red Sox. Ryan Yarbrough for the Rays. Tampa Bay minus 140 home favorites here in this game. The total 9 pretty much across the board in this one. So when you look at this game, I mean, we're talking about you talk about a guy that has been around the block for this or in the major leagues, and that's exactly what we're seeing here from Brad Peacock, who's apparently going to be the opener, expected to give way to Garrett Richards. At least that's the plan right now for this Boston team tonight. So you're not going to see Brad Peacock a lot. You're going to see mostly Garrett Richards, and Garrett Richards has actually been a little bit better lately for the Red Sox. I don't know what it's been, but still, I mean, you're talking about someone I'm certainly not ready to fully trust here on the road against a Tampa Bay team that's swinging the ball, like swinging the bat, I should say, extremely well right now. They're a red-hot lineup. 6 runs last night in the win, 12, 4, 6, 7 before that. So I had the over last night, and then I was ticked off because maybe I should have went Rays team. I should have had more respect for Patino at home because he has been a completely different pitcher at home, and he showed you that last night in the win against Boston. But I think Tampa Bay gets their runs here against this combo of Peacock and Richards. I mean, I definitely wouldn't expect anything different. I'm on Tampa here a little bit, first 5 full game. Split it up here, minus 140, first 5 full game. And I would lean again over the total. I'm not sure I'm fully, I don't love the prospect of backing always Ryan Yarbrough. He's a guy that's had some consistency problems throughout this season as well. And the last 3 starts for Yarbrough have been kind of rough. Even in Tampa Bay, when he faced Boston in July 31st, he gave up 5 runs in 5 innings. It wasn't a great start. Baltimore crushed him for 5 runs in 5 innings. Last start was a little bit better in Philadelphia 6 days ago. Rays won 7-4, but it wasn't great. He labored 2 runs, 5 hits, only lasted 4 innings. Each of the 3 Yarbrough starts, the last 3 have gone over the total. He's made 2 starts against Boston this year, and both of those games went over the total. 9-2 and 9-5 were the final scores. So I like Tampa. I think they'll win here, but I like the over more here 8.5, 9. I think it's pretty much 9 across the board right now. Yes, it is. It was 8.5 up to 9. I agree with the move. I think we'll see runs in this game. What do you think, Connor Mack, with Red Sox Rays?
Yeah, I got to be the Rays, same as yesterday. Go right back to the well. Take a -1, like we talked about yesterday. Go -1.5 if you want. I think they win the game. But I agree with you. I mean, the Red Sox got some pretty gaudy numbers off Yarborough. Like Bogarts is 11 for 27, Vasquez 9 for 23, 3 homers. JD Martinez 12 for 21, 2 homers. Bunch of other guys. Even Verdugo, sorry ass, is 3 for 7. My guys choked on me a few times this year. Ex-Dodger too in the trade. But I'm with you. I like both team totals. The Rays team total is 4.5. It's like -110, and I like the Red Sox. It's 3.5 -140. Shit, because I think what you bring in Richards, the Rays are going to rip him, and I think they get to Yarborough a little bit, the Red Sox. So when I like both team totals on a team, and I got a 9 here, give me just the over 9, like you like here, over 9 -105.
I agree. I like that one. All right, Colorado and Texas next up. Austin Gomber, Jordan Lyles, the pitching matchup here. We've got Colorado -125, -130 road favorites, 8.5. The total here in this game. Jordan Lyles, we know what kind of pitcher he is for the Texas Rangers and what kind of 2021 he's had, and it's not been a good one. Other than somehow, I still don't know how he shut down Boston. 1 run in 7 innings. That's clearly looking like an anomaly, because you look at the rest of Jordan Lyles since the beginning of August. 6 runs to the Angels, 5.2 innings. 6 runs to the Athletics, 5.1 innings. 5 runs to the Athletics, 6 innings. 8 runs, 9 hits, 3.2 innings to Cleveland in his last start. I ain't trusting him to pitch well here in this game. And to be honest with you, I don't trust Gomber. Gomber's a different pitcher on the road. He's been one of those weird pitchers, Connor Mack, where he's actually better at Coors. It's hard to fathom. He's very good at Coors Field. And then you get him on the road. He's got a 6 ERA on the road this season for the Colorado Rockies, and he's struggled consistently away from home. Look at his last start against the Cubs on the road. 5 runs, 4.2 innings. Start before that on the road against San Francisco. 5 runs in 4 innings. Start before that against San Diego. Once again, on the road. 4 runs and lasted only 1 inning in that game. It's just been one really rough road start for him after another, especially of late. So put it all together here, over 8.5. I think it's a reasonable number. Yeah, can you always trust the Rockies and the Rangers to hit? You can't. But boy, they should hit these 2 pitchers right now. So I like over 8.5 here, Rockies and Rangers. What do you think here with this one, C-Mac?
Yeah, I'm going to stay off this one. If I were to bet a side, it'd be the Rangers, but it's not enough plus money here. 2 bad teams. Gomber, like you talked about, is really good, but most of that's been at home. The Rangers can't hit lefties, though, so this will be interesting. Gomber can have a good start on the road. Rangers have scored a little bit of runs lately, but, man, they are at the bottom here hitting lefties all year long. And Lyles, I can't trust him. He'll have, 3 times this year, he had good starts where he'll go 7 innings to give up 1 run. Other than that, it's consistent. It's 3 or more, especially lately. I mean, he's had some okay starts. This is ugly to me. I had the under yesterday. I don't want it today with these 2 bums, so I'm off.
Yeah, and I like the over too, because full season numbers for Texas against lefties, you're right, they're a little bit suspect. But lately, Eduardo Rodriguez of Boston, they got 10 runs in that game. Sam Hentges of Cleveland, they scored 6 runs in that game. Odorizzi, Odorizzi's righty, sorry.
He's righty.
Valdez, they ended up, getting a couple of good at-bats. Not bad. I mean, only 2 runs. Actually, that one they didn't pitch well. But there's been a few. Valdez is actually a decent pitcher. I don't think that about Gomber on the road right now. He's really had a tough time. So I think there's possibility here for Texas to be able to score some runs. And they're not a great hitting team against lefty pitching, but they've at least been a little bit better here in recent games. So we'll see if that translates to them having some offensive success tonight. Pittsburgh and Chicago. White Sox. This is, by the way, the White Sox playing Pittsburgh, not the Cubs. This is an interleague matchup here. We've got the White Sox -340, home favorites, 9 shaded to the under in this one. I'm passing. It's just I don't have a lot. The White Sox should win. -340 is an astronomical price. There's just no way I can lay that kind of number. But Giolito should tie up this very, very light hitting, weak hitting Pittsburgh lineup. It's just you're not getting much value in any form. Money line, run line, first five. I mean, you're just not getting much in terms of any sort of bang for your buck backing the White Sox here. But on the flip side, can't go with the Pirates either. And look, Giolito last 4 starts has been quite good. He's given up just a grand total of 7 runs over a span of 26 innings over his last 4 starts. So he has pitched quite well. He shut down the Pirates earlier this year, 2 runs, 4 hits, 6 innings. In fact, in his career against the Pirates, he's given up just 6 runs in 19 innings. So he's pitched well against them. They should win the game here. But again, the value there is none. This is an obscene price. I'm not betting the game. I'm passing. What do you think here, C-Mac?
Yeah, I'm not betting it either. It'd be White Sox run line or nothing here. It's minus 165. Giolito should pitch well here. Yeah, the big step is to a lot of people, they just buried me all year, is the White Sox team total. Been able to figure out the 5.5. I think it's just minus 115. If you think they win here big, I think they get 6 runs. It's not my favorite look, but that's my play here in this game if I were to play one.
All right, Cleveland and Kansas City in this next matchup here. We've got Zach Plesac and it looks like Junis on the mound here for the Kansas City Royals. Jacob Junis, we have not seen him for a little bit of time. We've got Cleveland here, Kansas City minus 120 home favorites, 8.5, 9 the total here in this game. Zach Plesac on the mound for Cleveland, the nephew of Dan Plesac, who is a very good major league pitcher and currently working on MLB Network as well for them. And his nephew is a guy that's got some potential. He really does, but he's had some consistency problems. He's had some rough patches. Not the last start. It was better for him against Texas, 2 runs, 8 hits, 5.2 innings. Before that against Detroit, he pitched well, 2 runs, 5 hits, 7.2 innings in between a rough start against Minnesota. So that's basically been his season. It's been a little bit of good, a little bit of bad. One team he's pitched very well against, though, is this Kansas City team. He's undefeated. The Cleveland team is an undefeated 7-0 against the Kansas City Royals with Zach Plesac starting for them. So that's an angle that I don't really want to go against here. And it's got me leaning a little to Cleveland in this game. But Kansas City's been, my team for a while now. They were outstanding on that recent road trip that they had. They took care of business against the Cubs. They played the Astros very tough. And then, of course, they took 3 of 4 over the weekend from a Seattle team that, needs every win they can get right now. The question now becomes, Jacob Junis, what do you get? Recalled from Omaha and AAA. Omaha! Recalled from there for this start. In his last 2 outings there, he did pitch well. 7.1 innings without giving up a run and just 3 hits. He's not going to go deep into this game, though. We're looking at they're going to monitor his innings, monitor his pitch count, and let's keep in mind that earlier this year in his in his stint with the Royals before the injury, he only had a 5.19 ERA. So not exactly good at the major league level. I know those minor league numbers look pretty good coming back to the big leagues here off that injury, but I got to see it at the big league level here with Kansas City. And you combine that with the fact that Cleveland's undefeated 7-0 with Plesac on the mound against this Kansas City team. And for me, I would only lean Cleveland here. But I do respect the form of the Royals. I don't know if I'll bet it, but if I am, it's Cleveland for me. What do you think, Conor, Mac?
Yeah, we're going to get out of Junis. He's a guy that when he pitched out of the bullpen before he left was pitching well when they got out of the starters role. Then they went down to AAA, the injury, and he's back to starting. He's pitched pretty decent. I can't trust him. A long time ago, April, he pitched 5 innings, no runs. And then 10 days later, he gave up, he went 1 2/3 in a start and gave up 5 runs to the Indians. You talked about the Indians have kind of owned him. Plesac. I don't love Plesac. He's kind of been hit and miss. This is the game I'm going to pass. I lean the Indians. And nothing on the total. At 8.5, it seems a little light, but nothing on it. I think both these pitchers could pitch well or both could get hit. So it's a pass.
All right. Next up here, we've got the Chicago Cubs and the Minnesota Twins. Zach Davies and John Gant, the pitchers here in this matchup here. And this is an interesting one, I believe it or not, for two teams out of the playoffs. Minnesota minus 145, home favorites, 9.5 the total. What's interesting is, okay, John Gant is pitching for Minnesota. Yeah, you'd think, okay, American League pitcher. Well, guess where he came from? St. Louis. And who plays St. Louis a lot every year? Yeah, the Cubs. So you've got a lot of meat on the bone, essentially, to see what John Gant has done in the past against some of these Cubs hitters. And to be honest with you, he's done good against, whoever's left. It's mostly Ian Happ, Patrick Wisdom, Jason Hayward that are the main guys that have got some track record against Gant. Remember, most of the Cubs have been traded away in the deadline from the days when they faced Gant as a member of the Cardinals. So definitely want to keep that in mind. There is some familiarity, at least, with Gant. But Gant's form is just, we kind of saw this coming. We had to see this coming, right? I mean, early in the year, the ERA was just ridiculously low for a guy where his xFIP and his FIP and his advanced metrics and his swinging strike rate and all that stuff, it didn't compute. It didn't correlate to a guy with a 2-something ERA. We just knew there's got to be a correction. This guy's got to be regressing and going backward at some point. Well, he has finally hit that point. He has not been good for a while now. You can go all the way back to the last probably 4 starts he made with the Cardinals. 7 runs to the Reds, 5 runs to the Cubs, and he couldn't find the strike zone. He was out of there in 1.2 innings, 5 walks in that game, 3 runs, 4 hits, 5.1 innings against Atlanta, 3 runs in just 3 innings against Detroit. And his 2 starts with the Twins have not been good. 4 runs, 3.1 innings against the Yankees, 4 runs, 4 innings against Boston. And those games go over the total. And the Yankees score 7. Boston scores 12 in that game against the Twins. This guy, it cannot pitch deep. You get 3, you get 4, you get maybe, if you're lucky, maybe 5 innings out of him. So what does that mean? You're going to get a lot of bullpen for Minnesota. And I don't know if I like that. That bullpen, 5.03 ERA their last 10 games. Cubs bullpen, 6.28 ERA in their last 10 games. And you flip that over to Zach Davies. I mean, he's kind of had a little bit of a rough go in the second half of the year. He's had some bad outings. Colorado, the White Sox, a little bit better last 3 starts. Overall, he's given up 9 runs in his last 16.2 innings, a little bit better, but it's still not great. And the home run ball is killing Zach Davies. He has given up an unsightly number of home runs lately. How about 11 home runs allowed by Zach Davies in his last 5 starts? Think about that. In the month of August, he gave up 11 home runs in 5 starts. And it's 11 home runs in 16 innings. Do you know how insane that is? I mean, that number of home runs over that small a sample size, you're giving up, actually it's more, it's 22 innings, but still 11 home runs in 22 innings. Like that's basically, that's poor. I mean, 11 home runs in 22 innings is just not very good. It's got me thinking this should be high scoring. And I lean Twins. I'm certainly not going to I lean Cubs, I should say, with Gant's track record as of late. And the Cubs at least have seen him a little bit, but I don't know if Davies is enough of a reliable starter right now for me to even take this price with the Cubs. So it's got me leaning. I lean Cubs at the price because I guess Davies is the lesser of these two pitching evils, if you will. But neither bullpen's good. It wouldn't shock me. Davies, again, going to an American League lineup. We know how sometimes that's tricky, right? The going to an American League lineup. Say what you will about the Twins, but an American League lineup, sometimes you struggle, and Davies could. And I have no doubt Gant could have his hands full with the Cubs because he's just been a mess for a couple of months. So it's a lean to the Cubs. It's probably a stronger stance for me on the over here, 9.5. And I'd want the full game because these two bullpens both have an ERA over 5 in the last 10 games right now. Conor, Mac, what do you think here with the Cubs and the Twins?
Yeah, this is a game I'm off. I backed Gant. Not backed him, but I backed the under when he was catching 6.5, 6.5, and they went over first 5. Now this is a 5. I gotta think there's runs. It's just, can this Cubs? It's kind of a fetal lineup. They're not very good. Can they score some runs? It seems like they do every few games, 3 games. The Cubs do. I don't want my money on this game. I lean over with you as well. I was looking at the team total a little bit. Twins 4.5. It's -135. I thought it was too high, and I don't want a Cubs team total. Even though they might get there, the 4.5 is +110. And you talked about these guys, especially Davies gives up the jacks. Maybe look at the Twins. Jack of the day, Polanco, Donaldson, some of those guys. Jack of the day.
It's postponed. St. Louis, Cincy. Yeah. It is confirmed that is postponed. So that's great. I don't have to worry about that game being played, which is good because I've had enough of Cincinnati. No offense, Crystal, but I've had enough of that Reds team for a couple of days here. So it's nice to not have to watch them spit the bit like they've done the last 2 games. Imagine that. Luzardo and Lester can't hit a lick against either one of those. You can tell I'm still salty about that. No question. But anyway, 7th inning stretch. Good timing for this because I'm feeling stressed. It's 7th inning stretch time. We got to get the stress out, get the anger out. A lot of anger today. The anger about the Reds pissing it away the last 2 games. Anger about the Mets and Lindor and Baez just acting like complete imbeciles toward that long-suffering Met fan base. Sickening in my mind, their actions. Now they're backpedaling with fake, phony-ass apologies. They're not sorry. You think those 2 guys are sorry? Give me a break. Not one bit. Yeah. They were just instructed by the Mets. Say, you go out there in front of the cameras. You need to make a public apology. You got to make this right. Go out and do it. But do you think deep down in their heart of hearts, they're sorry for what they did? Not a chance. They're entitled. They're spoiled. They're filthy rich. They get these big contracts and they sit on them and do absolutely nothing. They don't hit in a big spot. They strike out left and right. They make mistakes in the field. They get hurt all the time, and then they just expect the fans to love them. When they underachieve. When you get paid that kind of money, there's an expectation to produce. All right, there's an expectation to perform when you get that kind of money. You understand that? You got that? As Victor Newman would say, you got that? Baez and Lindor. Apparently they don't have it. You can't just say I'm going to get this big money contract from the Mets and now I can play however the fuck I want to play. No, you got to play. You got to perform. You got to hit. You got to produce. It's simple. When you're getting paid, you're expected to produce. You're not just there for show. You're there to produce and make a difference and help the team win. Neither of those fucks are doing that right now. So. Anyway, I'm still pissed about that. Anyway, 7th inning stretch time.
All the way from Lithuania on the screen right now.
Yeah. No,
absolutely. Lithuania.
Great stuff. Wow. Budnikas. I think I got that part of it right. Kasparas Budnikas. There we go. Lithuania. We know a lot of good Lithuanian athletes. Jonas Valanciunas played for the Raptors here, just an hour away from me for years. And there's good Lithuanian athletes, no question about that, especially in basketball, no doubt. But thanks for joining the show. It looks like you're a hockey fan too. So with the Boston Bruins YouTube profile picture there on your account. So great to have you. Welcome in from Lithuania. I know we've got a couple people watching us from Europe, so it's great to see people internationally. They've caught the wave that is Pub Sports Radio, so it's great to see that for sure. Nate Dogg 420. Nate Dogg
all over the world, baby.
All over. Yeah, I know. What's that song? We're pimping all over the world. Yeah, that's what we're doing right now. Pimping all over the world. The fancy cars, the money, and the caviar. I remember that song. Nate Dogg 420, JR, Douglas Johnson, Lit Picks, Sean Thompson, Brian Dance, Abel Alvarez, Lance LaRose, Can't Get Right, Luth, SLSA, Gin in the Wall. There we go. Luth, Crystal Warren, DX Filer. We appreciate everybody here. LJ from H-Town. Who else have we got? We've got Michael Robertson, Nathan Cerna, Douglas Johnson, Brian Watson. Thanks again, everybody. Cash Action Bets, Wyatt Chapman, Cheshire Cat. I hate to say F the Reds because of Crystal, but hey, sometimes I'm pissed off with them right now. Mark Schillingberg in the house. Kasparas, again, thank you for joining us from Lithuania. Anthony Greer. Appreciate every one of you joining us here on the show. Jimmy Gomez. Yeah, tell me how you really feel. Yeah, I certainly have done that when it comes to the Reds and the Mets on this show today, for sure. PRS Full, Blake Atwood. We appreciate each and every one. Abel Alvarez, Platinum Paul, Solat Media, And there we go. We hit everybody in the G Money Bags, everybody in the chat. Thank you for joining us. Hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, share the video. 186 live viewers. We appreciate it very much. All right, let's move to the final 4 games. On the final 5 games, I should say. They're all a lot of late night games tonight. A lot of West Coast action tonight. 5 West Coast games, starting with the Yankees and the Angels. We've got all of a sudden the Yankees cooling off a little bit. The Yankees minus 190, road favorites, 9.5. The total in this game. Taillon against Jaime Barria in this game. This total has gotten absolutely hammered. It opened 8.5 with juice. It's 9.5. It's gone up a full run, this total. And it's you can understand why. Yankees against Barria, who I don't trust. We just saw him got lit up the last start. He hasn't exactly been great since being part of this Angels rotation. He gave up a ton of runs in that start against Cleveland. 5 runs, 6 hits, 2 innings. I guess you could say he was better in his last start against Baltimore. 1 run, 5 hits, 3.1 innings, but he labored throughout, got his way out of trouble in multiple innings. I don't see him pitching like that against this very, very dangerous Yankees lineup. I think they can do some damage. Taillon came back and regressed a little bit in the other direction last time out against Oakland, but the Yankees pulled out the win for him despite a bad start for Taillon. 5 runs in 3.2 innings in that game. His ERA on the road is 5. Barria I don't trust. So, yeah, I understand why the total's gone up. 9.5 now. Maybe be careful. We did see a high-scoring game last night. Can that be more of the same tonight? It was 8-7 between these two teams last night. But I certainly wouldn't want any part of an under in this game. It would be over or nothing for me. Conor, Mac, what do you think?
Yeah, Taillon. Yeah, I wish I was on the over last night between these teams. I thought about it. Barria hasn't been good, and his last start against Baltimore, I watched it. He got out of there 3 1/3 with 5 hits, 1 earned. But then it's the rest of the Angels bullpen, and they get hit. So I think he goes kind of the similar today. So even if he doesn't give up a ton, I think there's runs to be given up. I don't know how I want to play it. The Yankees are huge favorites here with Taillon. I don't know if I want to go first 5 half a run. I like their team total a little bit, but 5.5. It's minus 115. I lean that way, or just the over. Full game, 9.5. Can the Angels hit again off Taillon? I don't know if they can score runs. So I'm going to bet it some way here. The Yankees and lean to the over. I just don't know how.
Yeah, I'm actually gonna take the Yankees. I do think it's a good spot for the Yankees to finally. They've had a little mini 3-game skid, but any team that has like a 12-game win streak, often they're gonna lose a couple or 3 in a row once the winning streak gets snapped. And that's basically what you've seen. But I think tonight I would lean Yankees first 5, -0.5, -130. The run line too, I would lean, because you're right. The Angels bullpen, it was a bullpen day yesterday, and they used a lot of relievers, and it's not a great bullpen by any stretch. Yeah. So the Yankees -1.5 as well, -125 might be worth a look. Full game and first 5 run line Yankees, but I think I like the total going a little bit more in this game than the Yankee sides, I should say. All right, next up we've got San Diego and the Arizona Diamondbacks, Padres Diamondbacks, Blake Snell and Zach Gallen, the pitching matchup. Snell and the Padres -160, road favorites, 8.5 the total in this game. Stuck to my guns yesterday. I know there was a lot of hesitation in the chat. I know Ski Profit was hesitating about it, but I like the Padres team total yesterday over. I said they're going to pay back Tyler Gilbert for that no-hitter. That was a fool's gold no-hitter. And sure enough, they crushed him yesterday. Good bounce back by the Padres, getting some revenge, I guess you can say, on Tyler Gilbert for no-knowing them a few weeks ago. And they absolutely crushed Zach Gilbert last night in that 7-5 win over Arizona. So San Diego gets a win. They need it. They're trying to battle still to hang on for that second wild card spot in the National League. That's the only way they're going to get in to the playoffs now, is winning that wild card. And we'll give Blake Snell credit. We've been waiting for Cy Young, Blake Snell, to show up. And in the month of August, he pretty much did for the most part. 1 run against Oakland in 5 innings, 2 hits shutout against Arizona on August 8th, 2 runs, 6 hits, 5 innings against Arizona 5 days later, 3 runs in 5 innings against Philadelphia, and then 1 run, 3 hits, 7.2 innings, pitched a gem 6 days ago in that crazy game against the Dodgers that lasted forever. And for him not to win that game was pretty tough luck for him because he pitched extremely well for the Padres in that game. On the other side, you've got Zach Gallen on the mound for the Diamondbacks. He's actually pitched well 2 straight starts, believe it or not. Much better. Shut out the Rockies in 7 innings, 2 runs in 5 innings to Philly. He's on a streak of 2 runs in his last 12 innings pitched. Against the Padres, though, it's been a rough go this year. 0-2, 6 runs in 9.2 innings against the Padres. So it's a game I'm not getting involved in, but Blake Snell's in good form. I don't want to go against that. And Gallen's been better lately, but Padres have had his number this year. So just back and forth with those factors I just mentioned, and I'm going to end up probably passing. But we'll see if San Diego can get on a roll. It feels like if they're going to be locked in, get that intensity back, get that focus back, and if they're going to go on some kind of a win streak, this is where it's got to start. A series like this against Arizona. I'm not laying this price with them I don't trust them that much to want to lay this kind of price with them. But I sense that if they're going to maybe get on a bit of a roll, it's got to start with this series here against Arizona. What do you think, Conor?
Yeah, good luck. I mean, I wouldn't bet the Padres, or I just wait till they got rolling and got home. I think the number's too big here. I know Snell pitched that great game against in LA. He hasn't been good all year on the road. Gallen, his last 2 starts have been good. These guys have pitched well, and August 8th, August 13th, Snell pitched well. 7 innings, no runs, 5 innings. He labored a little bit, gave up 2. I think Gallen, you talked about, these Padres have hit him a lot. If you don't take the over 8, I'm leaning that way already. I think it's a little light. This could be an in game if the first 2 innings, or so, there's no runs. Both bullpens, I think, could get hit. It happened yesterday. It went over easy. I just think it's too light here at 8. So I lean over, and I'd only be on the D-backs here at the plus money early first 5. I think they hit lefties well. They're at the top. I don't know, at least top 10 all year against lefties, and Snell can be wild at times. So I'll only be on D-backs first 5. And
the last 10 head-to-head, by the way, with these 2 teams, 5-5. So if you're going to get get a plus price, it's not the worst thing in the world. This is more of a gut feel thing, like an intent. It just feels like, with winning last night, maybe the Padres go on a run. I don't know. Maybe they're not capable. You got to keep that in mind. Maybe they're not capable of
I think they can. I just don't have the price, but yeah, you got to lay it. You got to lay it to get it, but yeah.
Yeah, exactly. That's what you have to do at this time of year with, teams like, Padres are still a better team. They're playing for their playoff lives right now, but you don't always get a bargain, unfortunately, with teams like this on the last day of August of a long baseball season. Milwaukee and San Francisco. Brandon Woodruff and Johnny Cueto, the pitching, or it was going to be Johnny Cueto. What's going on here? What are we doing here, San Francisco?
He's got COVID. That's why he got yanked yesterday. I got no starter for the Giants.
No, they shouldn't have Cueto on here because you're right. I heard he was pulled, and it was because of COVID issues, which means there's no way he'd pitch today. So we're waiting on whoever the Giant starter is going to be. It'll be Woodruff here for Milwaukee. The initial price was -135 on the Brewers, 7.5 the total. I probably wouldn't bet the game either way. Woodruff had a little bit of a rough start 2 times ago, but was much better last time he pitched for the Brewers. Brewers winning the series opener against San Francisco last night, although team totals frustratingly fell short. I had 3.5. They ended up only with 3 runs in that game last night. Probably wasn't going to, no COVID. It was just, sick with the flu. So we'll see if that's what they're waiting on. So it's not COVID where he's got to be away for 5-10 days minimum. No, there's a chance if he's feeling better, he's pitching tonight, but we don't know that yet. Apparently the Giants don't know that yet because they haven't announced a starter. And yes, as Can't Get Right says in the chat, yes, the bats have cooled off for the Giants. They've had a little bit of an offensive doldrums here for them the last couple of games. So keep that in mind. I probably wasn't going to bet this game anyway, but with the uncertainty, I'm almost assuredly not going to be betting this game. Conor, any thoughts, Brewers, Giants?
Yeah, me too. I'll wait for a starter. Obviously, with Woodruff, I lean under. But when he has had bad starts, they've all been on the road this year. Whether it was at Colorado, at the Mets, he gave up 4 runs, at Atlanta, 3 runs. Because other than that, he's been dominant, especially at home. He gives up none or 1 all year long. And then the St. Louis game, the August 19th when he gave up 6, and he pitched well at home against Cincinnati. So he's been a little bit worse on the road, the ERA. But I'd only kind of lean under. Obviously, I got to see a pitcher, but Giants aren't hitting. I lean under.
All right, Houston and Seattle, and this is going to be a game where I probably should talk myself out of betting it, but I may not. Houston, Lance McCullers against Yusei Kikuchi for Seattle. Houston minus 160, road favorite, 7.5 the total in this game. I know Seattle needs the wins, but I don't know if I trust them to win big games when the pressure's on, and that seems to be what this is here. And they're kind of struggling under that pressure. They had a rough series against Kansas City over the weekend. They lose the opener to Houston last night. And now they got to face Lance McCullers, a 2.75 ERA. They're 8-2 in his 10 road starts. And I was on one of those two games they lost with him on the road. I think it was against the Angels. It was a few weeks ago. I took Houston on the road with that road record, and they lost. But I am tempted to come back to that here today and at least go first 5 minus a half a run on Houston. That's probably the bet I'll make. And I lean over the total too, because you say Kikuchi's not right. You say he's fine. I say he's not right now for the Seattle Mariners. 4 runs, 4 hits, 5 innings. Walks have been just a massive issue. He has gone 10 straight games with at least 1 walk. He had 3 walks 2 starts ago against Houston, where he got shelled for 7 runs. 4 walks before that against the Blue Jays, where he got crushed. 3 walks before that against the Yankees. 2 against Tampa. 2 more against Houston. And the last 2 starts against Houston for this guy, 11 runs in 7.2 innings. Remember when he had that 7-inning shutout, 1 hit allowed back in April? Yeah, we're a long way from that, because 2 starts against Houston since then, 11 runs, 7.2 innings for Kikuchi. He's had a really big-time struggle head-to-head against the Astros, and we know this Astros lineup, in theory, should be able to hit him well, a lefty. Usually they match up well against a southpaw. And then, again, you look at totals-wise, even with McCullers' great road ERA this year, Houston's 6-4 to the over in his 10 road starts, 14-8 to the over in McCullers' starts overall. And the Mariners have a profitable over record, both for Kikuchi overall and at home. So I think we'll see runs here in this game, probably more from Houston. But you're talking total here of 7.5, 8. That's what we're looking at now, 7.5, 8 with this total. We're not asking for a massive slugfest here. Just, get us to 8 runs, we won't lose. And even if you can find the 7.5 out there, which is out there at William Hill, a couple other books, if you can find a 7.5, then an 8 will win the bet for you with the over. Yeah. So I like over 7.5, 8 here, and I also like Houston minus half a run in the first 5 innings. What do you think here, C-Mac?
Well, Kikuchi, I can't read the guy, so I don't want the Mariners, and they didn't get it done. I know Flexen gave up those 2, but he pitched well after that. But yeah, the Mariners couldn't score any runs. McCullers, I don't know. I think he could be going through a little bit of fatigue here. His last 4 starts, he's been hit, and a few of them have been gritty. Like in Seattle, August 20th, he went 6 innings, only gave up 2 runs. Same thing with the Angels. But he gave up 4 to Minnesota, 4 to Kansas City. I like his grit, but I don't want the Astros at this price. I have not had Astros Mariner games are just not my deal. It's not my bag, baby. I don't fucking I ain't winning this shit. But I'm with you. I lean the over 7.5. Jack of the day we'll get to Kyle Seager, 11 for 42 with 3 homers off McCullers. That's all I had. I lean over.
All right, final game now of this Tuesday MLB card. Atlanta Braves, Los Angeles Dodgers. We've got Charlie Morton, Old Man Morton for the Braves, Walker Buehler for the Dodgers. Dodgers minus 190, home favorite, 7.5 the total in this game. Dodgers with the 5-3 victory in the series opener yesterday against the Braves. Solid performance from Julio Urias again. In that game, and they got a couple of bombs off Drew Smyly, albeit a lot of them were solo shots, but they got the home run ball going against Drew Smyly, and it paved the way for an early lead, and they preserved the lead from there. Charlie Morton now on the mound for the Atlanta Braves. He's been really, to be honest with you, we'll give him a lot of credit. He's had a nice run, especially since the mid part of the year. I mean, his last 9 starts, he's only given up north of 3 runs 1 time, and that was the last start he made against the Yankees, which they've been one of the hottest hitting lineups in baseball for the last month. And he gave up 4 runs, 6 hits, 5 innings to the Yankees. But other than that, he's been really good for Atlanta. How has he done against the Dodgers? Not quite as good. I mean, 4 runs, 5 innings against the Dodgers in Atlanta earlier this year, kind of struggled a bit. Last year as a member of the Rays, in fact, it was in the World Series that he faced the Dodgers. 5 runs, 7 hits, 4.1 innings, struggled in the World Series against the Dodgers. And look, the Dodgers have seen Morton a lot. That's the one thing that I'm worried about, because otherwise I lean first 5 under.
Me too.
I really, really do, but I'm just a little worried about that Morton track record against the Dodgers. I am, because it's not been great. I mean, the start this year wasn't great for him against the Dodgers with Atlanta, and then we saw what happened last year in the World Series with the Rays getting hit against this Dodgers team. Other than that, I think this is the first 5 under, because he's still been in very good form overall, Morton. And Buehler's form, it goes without saying. I mean, this guy should win the NL Cy Young in my mind. I mean, he's been that awesome. 2.02 ERA overall, 2.13 ERA at home at Dodger Stadium. Big time, big game pitcher. And he showed you that against the Padres last time out. 1 run, 6.2 innings, 8 strikeouts. Outstanding work by Buehler all season long. And he also has the track record of success against the Braves. Faced them twice last year. 1 run in 11 innings. Shut down this Atlanta team completely. So other than a small concern that Morton has been hit around a little bit by the Dodgers earlier this year and last year in the World Series, other than that small concern, I would absolutely lean first 5 under here in this game because I think we could get a slow start. Under is 4, minus 115. I still think that's worth a bet. I could see this one. Morton, I know, it worries me. You don't want to see him give up these home run balls, but and he's been hit around by this Dodgers team, but his form's still good overall. And even if he gives up 2-3 runs, Morton, are the Braves going to get anything off Buehler? I'm not so sure about that. You could still find your way to this under in the first 5 innings. So that's the way I would lean in this one. Connor Mack, what do you think? Atlanta, LA?
Yeah, me too. It's not a 3.5. I thought it might be. So I like the 4 in the full game, 7.5. That's why yesterday when they hung the 9, the first 5 was 4.5, but they were giving you not an 8.5, but a 9. I went there and it stayed under. Luckily, Dodgers bullpen didn't give anything up. But yeah, I looked at this last night, this morning. My one thing, you already nailed it, is Morton. Dodgers have hit him well, and it scares the shit out of me. I think Buehler will be fine. He owns the Braves. Freddie Freeman's the only guy. He's 3 for 12. 2 of those have been bombs, but other than that, he's shut these guys down pretty well. Albies is okay, 4 for 13. I'm with you. I'm on this under. I've already committed. I'm in like Flynn. So first 5 under 4.
That's right. In like Flynn. And yeah, that'll help your cause maybe if you're having a little bit of concern about Morton, which I do. And Dodgers against the right-handed pitching in the last 10 games as a team, 163 batting average. So not great for the Dodgers. So maybe Morton can hang in there finally against them and pitch some clean innings. We'll have to wait and see on that. But I definitely think Buehler will tie up Atlanta's bats with just how dominant he's been all year. So still would lean under for 4 in the first 5 innings here. Great stuff. Over 200 live viewers. Hit the like button. Hit the subscribe button. Share the video. Great turnout. Thanks to everyone in the chat. Fun show. It's always a little bit more fun and exciting when I get to rant and rave a little bit, and I did that a couple of times today. It makes for some good fun and hopefully entertainment. I don't want to sound like a freak sideshow clown every day on the show. You got to save the rants for when they're deserving. And I'm certainly pissed off with the Reds. Losing with the same team 2 days in a row is never fun. And then of course the Mets thing angers me to no end. You got people struggling to make ends meet now in middle of 2021, coming off a horrendous pandemic, and we've got $300 million guys having the gall to go out on the field and put thumbs down to hard-working, loyal fans that pay their expensive parking tickets, ridiculous prices for concessions and food and drinks and merchandise, and you have the absolute gall to get out there and put the thumbs down to them, those people that support you, even though you've had an ass of a season so far and have been injury riddled and have not hit in the clutch and have made mistakes in the field, and you're going to give them the thumbs down because they're a little bit frustrated and a little bit upset and they're voicing their displeasure. That's ridiculous. It's sickening. $300 and you're going to get uptight because the fans are pissed off. For $300, you better perform and then some is what you should be doing. I mean, it's simple as that.
Yeah, it's New York.
Yeah.
You're going to get that shit. You produce or you're going to get booed off the field. So
Yeah.
That's just how it is.
Like if you're making a penny and you suck,
Yeah.
and then and boo,
you're really
then,
gonna
okay, that's different. You're not making a damn thing, but you're making $300 million. You're going to be set for life. You've got more money than you can. You got more money than you can shake a stick at. You're shitting money out of your asshole when you're making that much money, $300 million. So I don't want to hear this nonsense that, it's bothering me that the fans are booing us. Perform. It's a performance business, especially when you're getting that kind of dough.
Jeez.
Anyway, enough of that. We will get to best bets. We will get to Jack of the Day in just a second. But first, we're going to get to our sponsors, Manscaped and Southtown 101. All right, Southtown 101. When you're in San Antonio, Texas, stop in. Great food, drinks, live music, DJs, and karaoke. Southtown 101 in San Antonio. Manscaped, promo code PubSports. The Lawnmower 4.0 and any other Manscaped product on the website, manscaped.com. You get 20% off the purchase using the promo code PubSports. So make sure you take advantage of that. And mybookie.ag, a promo code PubSports. Football season is here. College football started Saturday, but it really gets going in full this weekend. Thursday games, Friday games, a full Saturday card. NFL next week. Looking forward to that. CFL underway as well. Football's here. Get yourself prepared for it and sign up for an account at mybookie.ag. Bitcoin accepted currency for your deposit as well. Mybookie.ag, promo code PubSports. All right, we'll get to best bets in just a second. But first, we'll see who goes yard with the Jack of the Day.
Well, see you later.
All right, a Jack of the Day today. We'll see what we can find here. There's a couple spots that I'm interested in. There's definitely some good numbers for Red Sox against Yarbrough. JD Martinez in particular, and even Christian Vasquez. He's been a little bit of a slump, but he does have 3 home runs. It's hard to deny that kind of track record against Yarbrough. So I would target both of them for Jack of the Day. I think with Vlad Guerrero Jr. getting off the schneid, hitting not 1 but 2 home runs last night, and the fact that he's 2 for 6 with 2 home runs against Keegan Aiken of the Orioles, you could go with Vlad Guerrero Jr. tonight. Teoscar even, I think, is worth a look for the Blue Jays as well for Jack of the Day tonight. Ryan Zimmerman, Josh Bell, Juan Soto, Alcides Escobar, take your pick. Those are 4 Nationals against Matt Moore that I would consider for a Jack of the Day tonight as well. That's it. I'll keep it to that. Conor Mack, what do you think for Jack of the Day?
Yeah, I'll go back to Kyle Seager. He's plus 450. You can't deny it. The 3 bombs, and it's that high. I got to take it. Bogarts, you mentioned it, plus 475. Segura, plus 550. And one guy, he's 8-1. Jose Iglesias, he's 6 for 8 with a jack for the Angels off Taillon. Put it down. He's 8-1. Plus 800. Just put a little down on him. A guy that's 6 for 8 with a homer, and he's 8-1. Give me him for Jack of the Day. Put a little on him.
All right. Best bets now for this Tuesday MLB card. Conor Mack, we'll start with you. What do you like for best bet?
I'll go right to it. I told you I'm already in because I'm already on it. It's the Braves Dodgers. First 5 under 4. I'll live and die with it today. So I need a good pitching performance early by these guys.
All right, there we go. Braves Dodgers under 4. First 5 innings, best bet for Conor Mack. I'm going to give you 2 best bets today because I can't pick between them. 1 side and 1 total for best bets today. We'll start with the total. We're going to go Philadelphia, Washington over 9, minus 110. Moore and Corbin, 2 lefties, 2 struggling lefties. Washington cracks lefties. The Phillies have a good track record against Corbin this year. Neither bullpen you can trust to put up zeros late. So Phillies Nationals over 9 for one of my best bets. And the other, we're going to go for that big dog and against the team that we ripped apart throughout the course of this show, the Miami Marlins here. And I'm going to split it up. I'm going to recommend a split bet here, first 5 and full game. Edward Cabrera was lights out in that first start. I was impressed. The ball was just flying out of his arm. Incredible swing and miss ability. You can get Miami plus 130, plus 135 in the first 5 innings, and then plus 145 in the full game. There you go. Miami, first 5 full game. Philadelphia, Washington, over 9. 2 best bets for me today. Feeling generous. Hopefully it pays off though. We got to win them now. Best bets for these for this Tuesday MLB card. And that'll wrap up this edition of the MLB Closing Time Show. Thanks to everybody in the chat. Over 200 live viewers. Hit the like button on your way out if you haven't already. And Conor and I will see you again tomorrow on Wednesday, 4 p.m. Eastern, 1 p.m. Pacific for another edition of the MLB Closing Time Show. If you missed our early week football look or show, Hitting the Books, which will be every Monday during the football season, it's on the channel. We did it yesterday. Check it out. We give you our thoughts on the Thursday and Friday college football games and a couple from Saturday as well. And then Saturday morning, we've got our full first college football Saturday morning show, 10 a.m. Eastern, 7 a.m. Pacific, 4th and Gold on Pub Sports Radio. You are not going to want to miss it. 2 hours to get you ready, and we'll break down every Saturday college football game, getting you ready for the big college football slate this Saturday. I cannot wait. It'll be a lot of fun. For Connor Mack, I'm Ian Cameron. Have a great Tuesday night. Enjoy the games and good luck. We'll see you tomorrow on Wednesday for another MLB Closing Time Show right here on Pub Sports Radio.